The people who knew better didn't say anything. They didn't say, well, you know what, I disagree with his economic policies, but that goes too far. They didn't say, I'm not sure his foreign policy is the right one for America, but we can't allow our politics to descend into the gutter. People like Ted's opponent. They stood by while this happened. And Donald Trump, as he's prone to do, he didn't build the building himself, but he just slapped his name on it and took credit for it. And that's what's happened in their party. All that bile, all the exaggeration, all the stuff that was not grounded in fact, just kind of bubbled up, started surfacing. They know better, a lot of these folks who ran, and they didn't say anything. And so they don't get credit for, at the very last minute, when finally the guy that they nominated and they endorsed and they supported is caught on tape saying things that no decent person would even think, much less say, much less brag about, much less laugh about or joke about, much less act on. You can't wait until that finally happens and then say, oh, that's too much, that's enough, and think that somehow you are showing any kind of leadership and deserve to be elected to the United States Senate. You don't get points for that. In fact, I'm more forgiving of the people who actually believe it than the people who know better and stood silently by out of political expediency because it was politically convenient. And if your only organizing principle has been to block progress and block what we've tried to do to help the American people every step of the way, so you're not even consistent anymore. You claim the mantle of the party of family values. And this is the guy you nominate and stand by and endorse and campaign with until finally, at the 11th hour, you withdraw your nomination? You don't get credit for that. You're the party that is tough on foreign policy and opposes Russia, and then you nominate this guy, whose role model is Vladimir Putin, the former head of the KGB? I'm sorry, what happened? It's disappointing. Because yes, I'm a Democrat, but I'm an American first. And I actually believe in a strong two-party system. And I think that the marketplace of ideas should have a reasonable common sense Republican Party debating a reasonable common sense Democratic Party, but that is not what we have right now. And the reason is because people like Ted's opponents, who know better, have stood silently by. They've been trying to block everything we've tried to do to help working folks for years now. Even here in the state of Ohio, they opposed us trying to save the auto industry upon which hundreds of thousands of jobs depend. And then when it works out pretty good, you're taking credit for it. Man, look at this economy, it's gone great. Yeah, but you sure didn't help. It wasn't because of your policies. That's not why Ohio grew. That's not why folks got back to work. So the point is, if your only agenda is either negative's a euphemism, crazy, based on lies, based on hoaxes, this is the nominee you get. You make them possible. Now they're shocked. So Donald Trump may make most Republican politicians look a little bit better by comparison. I mean, it's like the bar's gotten so low. But these are the same Republicans who tried to block us from rescuing the economy. Did not offer a single vote when it came to the recovery package that made sure that we started growing again long before any other advanced economy did. Same folks who didn't vote for the auto industry assistance that resulted now in record-breaking auto sales. The same folks who tried to take away folks' health insurance every chance they get, who refused to allow votes on giving minimum wage workers a raise, refused to support making sure women earn equal pay for equal work. How hard a concept is that? Why would you want your daughter to get paid 80 cents for doing the same job that somebody else's son is getting paid $1 to do? That doesn't make any sense. Don't act like this started with Donald Trump. I mean, he did take it to a whole new level, but he didn't come out of nowhere. And that's why we've got to win this election at every level. That's where you come in, Democrats. That's where your work will make a difference. That's where all the volunteer recruitment and the voter registration and the campus organizing comes into play. Because when Democrats have everybody on the field, we can't lose. And the other side knows that. That's why they're always trying to make it harder for folks to vote. If we keep speaking to America's hopes over their fears, and if we inspire them rather than divide them, if we have concrete plans to respond to the very real challenges folks face with the same sense of urgency and compassion and empathy that we feel in our own families and our own communities, if we care about every kid the same way we want this country to care about our kids, then we'll win in November.